Hey, what's going on? It's 1:52 p.m. It's July the 1st, 2018. My eyes are still doing its thing. I don't know what's going on. They feel extremely dry, and I've also been noticing I've been kind of having like that, weird stuff or whatever. I don't know. It happened yesterday. So, what I wanted to talk about, and I haven't really wrote anything down. I'm just looking at websites and stuff. So, I wanted to talk about my diagnosis of autoimmune Hashimoto's encephalopathy, or or um, encephalop, encephalop. Damn it! It's not that. It's encephalopathy, encephalitis, yeah, itis or whatever. So I don't really know the difference, to be honest. I would think itis is inflammation of the brain. Encephalopathy is like brain disease, which actually I wouldn't even say it's really brain disease because you also have hepatic encephalopathy. So maybe it's just like a disease in general. I'm not really sure. Maybe I can figure that out at the you know end of this. I don't know how long this video is going to be. But I've been having tons of health issues for many, many years. I would say probably the thing that I've had most that I've had to deal with is fast heart rate, high blood pressure, or maybe sometimes low blood pressure, or low pulse. So it just depends. Which I believe personally, I think, yeah, it has to do with stress, or maybe dehydration, or whatever, or maybe it has to do with the I don't know, something. I've noticed that, like, when I try to say stuff like this, I start blacking out. But yeah, I've been having a lot of that, and then I guess like a year or two later, I started to have bad issues with reality, processing reality, and all that other stuff. And I don't remember what year. I think it was after my father passed away. So that was in 2006. So, and I think my mom, I think she moved from her home in 2007 probably. So, and I had to figure out a place to get of my own. That's when I was still sick. But I remember I somehow found my way back to my childhood home, an apartment that some guy was renting. I lost my job, so he wanted me gone. He didn't want me there. So, actually, I don't remember how I got all my stuff out, to be honest. But yeah, I remember when I was there, I was having like severe issues. Like, I could not process reality for shit. Like, I would stay inside for months at a time. Like, I just couldn't go. And it was a small town too. No bus system, nothing like that. No taxis. It's pretty much either you got a vehicle or you know somebody with a vehicle. So, with the invention of Uber and Lyft and all that other stuff, I'm sure they're everywhere now. But yeah, I had that, I remember. And I've had some different weird neurological, psychological issues in the past. But yeah, and then I started to get a lot of brain fog, and I started to get memory issues over the years. And then I got to the point I was really having memory issues, where I would be able to remember stuff for years, all my life. And now it's like, you know, it went from like a year to months to weeks to a couple days, like, you know, offhand memory. Oh wow, I'm starting to feel clammy again. Huh, that's interesting. Oh wow. This is the same stuff I had yesterday. I wonder what this is. It's the same freaking feeling that I had yesterday. I don't know if it's the, I feel cool, and I'm starting to really feel clammy, and all right here hurts. And then after that, I started to get all the pain, the achiness, and whatever, and then I started to get the dry eyes, or whatever they are. I don't know. And then everything in between. Wow, that's crazy. So, yeah, and all the other issues, and unfortunately, a lot of physicians or medical people would just say that I was making shit up, you know. I know that I'm losing weight, like muscle. You know, I see it in my arms, I see it in my legs, like my calves and stuff look all deformed. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? Like not too long ago, like my calves were like really tight, like they were muscled up. You know, I would say like probably the best part of my body probably was my calves. Like, yeah, they were pretty good, and now they're just like, you know, bits and pieces. I'm like, whoa, what the hell, man? So yeah, I don't know, just a lot of issues. They've done CT scans, MRIs and shit, and nothing ever really shows up, to be honest. They did a PET scan, I think in January or so, or whatever it was, and it showed that I had my temporal lobes in my brain. There was hardly any activity. My occipital lobe, there was probably a couple other areas, but they definitely mentioned my limbic system, which I guess that's tied with your temporal lobes. So I've had EEGs. Now that always shows up. It always shows up abnormal waves. So as well as I've had psychological tests since, I don't know, probably 2010 or so. You know, that all shows that I've been having issues. I had one, I think, a couple years ago, and oh wow, it just did it again. Just like that. I'm really scared, to be honest. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I'm trying. I don't know if these are seizures, or you know, if my eyes are just like dry as hell, or I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I was just saying. But my vision is like really messing up right now. I don't. I don't know what's wrong with me. My vision's really messing up. And I don't know why. But what was I saying? Something about, I don't know, something about something. But, yeah, my PET scan showed that, my EEG showed that, my psych evals showed moderate to severe cognitive impairments, all kinds of shit. And even with all that, for the most part, they tried to say that there was nothing wrong with me, that I was all crazy, that I was all in my head. And you know, physicians or whomever is not going to take responsibility. They're like, oh yeah, we fucked up. You know, they're not going to do that. They're going to side with their colleagues every time. And I've mentioned this in videos that I've done in the past. But yeah, so when I saw the neurologist, I guess she's like a special type of neurologist, she stated that I believe because your TPO-AB antibodies are high, not crazy high, but high enough. And yeah, and now also my thyroglobulin antibodies are pretty high as well. Actually, those are higher than my TPA-OB antibodies. And then I'm sure there's other ones that could actually be high as well. So there's some that doctors you can test for, from what I've heard. But yeah, so I could have all kinds of antibodies running through me. I feel like I'm having like some real issues, dude. Like, so anyways, I'm just looking at this stuff. Yeah, I put Hashimoto's encephalopathy death, and it came up with 44,000 searches in 0.41 seconds. You know, I'm just gonna say some. Wow, I'm gonna let my computer read some stuff out here and there, like stuff that I'm seeing on the front.
Too often patients are misdiagnosed at the neurological level. It is known that if Hashimoto's encephalopathy goes untreated, it results in irreversible dementia, coma, nursing home, and death.
So that's the first one from ScienceDirect.com. So I have something that, if I don't get treated, will kill me eventually. Put me in a coma or whatever. I'm trying to like figure out some different stuff. Okay, I just read that.
Hashimoto's encephalopathy is an unusual condition associated with a slower decline in functional status, and ultimately results in death.
So that's not good, but you talk to doctors and they will treat you like crap and act like, you know, there's nothing wrong, right? That you're fine, that you have mental issues. I've had something for years. Why, I don't know, but I've had something for years that, you know, is fucking killing me. You know, you just heard that it can cause irreversible dementia and all kinds of issues, and so what are the causes of Hashimoto's encephalopathy? HE. I'm just gonna let it read.
Currently, the exact cause is unknown, but it is probably an autoimmune condition. Please see above. The thyroid antibodies are thought likely to be a marker of the illness rather than the cause of the problem, and are very common in the general population. Thyroid function is usually normal.
Okay, and how is HE diagnosed?
Here's a diagnosis of exclusion. To diagnose it is important to rule out a whole range of other conditions, including Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, viral or other antibody-associated forms of encephalitis, and dementia such as Alzheimer's. Useful tests include magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, of the brain, the electroencephalogram, EEG, cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, analysis, hormonal and metabolic blood screens, and viral studies.
Okay. So, I do know that MRI is not that accurate. It doesn't always show things up. Things don't always show up, I mean. So I don't know, because like I said, I've had multiple MRIs and nothing's ever showed up. So yeah, so I would recommend a PET scan, but PET scans can get costly and they don't always get approved. So it's talking about conditions including something disease. I don't know how to even pronounce that or say that. Oh, I guess they didn't even spell it. A degenerative brain disease that leads to dementia and death. Fewer than 1,000 cases causes cases per year. I'm going to read this too. Well, it is.
Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease may occur spontaneously, be inherited, or be transmitted by contact with infected tissue, such as during a transplant or from eating contaminated meat. The condition causes personality changes, anxiety, depression, and memory loss, usually within a few months. Many people lapse into coma. Because no effective treatment exists, the focus is on alleviating pain and relieving symptoms.
My eyes, bro. And then, you know, that's always done that. I'm doing this, but like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's doing it right now. I made a video on that. Okay. So how is ME treated? Or, I mean, not ME, but HE.
Most patients with HE improve with high-dose steroids, most often prednisolone. Improvement may be rapid, taking days to weeks, but sometimes can take many months. Because of the improvement with steroids, some experts refer to the condition as steroid-responsive encephalopathy associated with autoimmune thyroiditis, SREAT. In some patients who show a limited response to steroids, doctors may use plasma exchange when some of a person's blood is taken out from a vein. And the plasma part of the blood which contains antibodies is separated and replaced with new plasma and then put back into the vein in a drip, intravenous immunoglobulin, IVIG, a blood product given into the vein in a drip. The prognosis with treatment is generally good. Steroids are often continued for many months.
So, with what I kind of learned about that, and I don't, I was trying to make a video a little bit ago, and my computer froze. I don't know. Well, my browser froze, should I say. So I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure something out with that last one. So, because I remember it was talking about, you know, the treatment for that could be anywhere from 2 years to 25 years. Yeah. So, it could definitely, it could definitely take a long time. I know this isn't the best video, but I don't know what to say. Oh, okay. Yeah. Here it is. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. I'm a dork. and from the Wikipedia one. So, wow. Yeah, so I just wanted to read that, let this thing read that one for that last one. That's the Wikipedia for Hashimoto's encephalopathy.
Duration of treatment is usually between 2 and 25 years. Earlier reports suggested that 90% of cases stay in remission after discontinuation of treatment. However, this is at odds with more recent studies which suggest that relapse commonly occurs after initial high-dose steroid treatment. 6-7 left untreated. This condition can result in coma and death.
Yep. So, yeah. That's not cool. Okay, how has the understanding of HE changed in the last decade?
How has the understanding of HE changed in the last decade? A number of autoantibodies, other than thyroid antibodies, have been described in patients with many similar features to typical cases of HE over the last decade. Therefore, the concept of HE is becoming fragmented into a number of other types of autoimmune encephalitis which appear to have their own autoantibodies, prognosis and associated features.
Yeah. So I'm citing this one from encephalitis.info/Hashimoto's encephalopathy. This is cool. Be nice if I can get this a little more quicker. Hashimoto's encephalopathy, what differential diagnosis is of that one? I don't know. What was I looking at? So I also wanted to put signs and symptoms. I mean, you could probably have all kinds of shit. I know I've had tons of stuff. See, a lot of this stuff I don't get, as far as I know, but I'll just put this down, and this is from the Wikipedia.
Signs and symptoms. Edit. The onset of symptoms tends to be fairly gradual and to occur over 1 to 7 days. Symptoms of Hashimoto's encephalopathy may include personality changes, aggression, delusional behavior, concentration and memory problems, coma, disorientation, headaches, jerks in the muscles, myoclonus 65% cases. Lack of coordination, ataxia 65% cases, partial paralysis on the right side, psychosis, seizures 60% cases, sleep abnormalities 55% cases, speech problems, transient aphasia 80% cases, status epilepticus 20% cases, tremors 80% cases.
So it sounds like so that ataxia, or whatever you call it, that's like lack of coordination. It's whatever is neurological sign consisting of lack of voluntary coordination of muscles, movements that include gout abnormalities, all kinds of other stuff. You just can't walk right. See, for me, I'm having all those things. But for me, I believe personality changes. I think that I believe I get, I'm not like, I get aggression, but it's not like I'm gonna fucking kill somebody. And it's not like these people that just get pissed off, like, like, I'm a calm, pissed off kind of guy. I really am. Delusional behavior. I don't know about delusional. I don't think I have delusions. Coma, thank God I haven't had that. Knock on wood, that I don't ever. Disassociation, I believe I do. I get headaches. I get jerks in the muscles. I think I do. I mean, I guess. I mean, they do that. Or they, like that. So I don't know if that's jerks. That's 65% of the cases, as it said. Partial paralysis on the right side. Well, I mean, I don't know about paralysis, like, I think there's different types, because you have, like, numbness where you can actually still feel, it's just, you know, parts of your face or whatever feels numb, or different, you know, different areas of your body. And I've had that. I remember when I first got sick, you know, I would drink, like, some hot cocoa or whatever in my face, like, all right here, and just be like, boom, like numb and raging numbness, a psychosis, ha ha ha. No, I don't think I have that. So, for the most part, I know right from wrong. The epileptic seizure is a brief. Signs due to abnormally excess. Okay, we usually know what a seizure is. Sleep abnormalities. So seizures 60% of the time. So when I had my EEG done, they said that I had I think a high threshold or a low threshold, something. Basically, they said that I could be having seizures. But when they put me in the hospital for a couple days, and they only strobed me once, they're like, you're not having seizures. By the way, that cost $20,000. It was like $18,000 for the hospital visit and $2,000 for the doctor. And then they didn't want to see me again. I'm like, wow, that's some bullshit, dude. So seizures 60%. Sleep abnormalities 55%. I have those. Speech problems. I don't think I really have that. I think there might be some, but that's 80% of the time. Tremors 80% of the time. So I don't know if like that's a tremor, like when it does that, but sometimes this does this. I'm not doing that. But, I mean, I'm doing that, but you know. And then static. Let's see. What does this say?
Signs and symptoms. Edit.
I don't want that, dude. I just.
Status epilepticus, 20% cases.
Yeah. So basically this is saying is a single epileptic seizure lasting more than 5 minutes, or 2 or more seizures within a 5-minute period without the person returning to normal between them. Previous definition used a 30-minute time limit. The seizures can be of tonic-clonic type. I don't know if there's other stuff on there, but yeah, I guess that's like a severe seizure, right? I don't know about seizures like that. More than 5 minutes, or 2 or more seizures within 5 minutes periods without the person returning to normal. So I guess the person seizes up for, 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. I guess it could last 30 minutes. I don't know. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading. This is kind of how I have to do my stuff. I have a hard time putting things together. Okay, so I just wanted to put pathology. It's not much. It's like 2 sentences, really. Maybe 2-3 sentences that somebody wrote. So, pathology on Wikipedia.
Very little is known about the pathology of Hashimoto's encephalopathy. Post-mortem studies of some individuals have shown lymphocytic vasculitis of venules and veins in the brainstem and a diffuse gliosis involving grey matter more than white matter. As mentioned above, autoantibodies to alpha-ranolase associated with Hashimoto's encephalopathy have thus far been the most hypothesized mechanism of injury. 3.
Huh. You know, it's weird because when I start getting those sensations in my head, I feel like it's a vasculitis. I always say vasculitis. I don't know. So, diagnosis, laboratory, and radiological findings, and some other stuff. That's kind of not long, but it's kind of there. So, diagnosis, Wikipedia.
Laboratory and radiological findings. Edit. Increased liver enzyme levels. 55% cases. Increased thyroid stimulating hormone. 55% cases. Increased erythrocyte sedimentation rate. 25% cases. Cerebrospinal fluid findings. Raised protein. 25% cases. Negative for the 3rd of March. 14 protein may contain antithyroid antibodies. Magnetic resonance imaging abnormalities consistent with encephalopathy. 26% cases. Single photon emission computed tomography shows focal and global hypoperfusion. 75% cases. Cerebral angiography is normal. Thyroid hormone abnormalities are common. Greater than 80% cases. Subclinical hypothyroidism, 35% cases. Overt hypothyroidism, 20% cases. Hyperthyroidism, 5% cases. Euthyroid on levothyroxine, 10% cases. Euthyroid not on levothyroxine, 20% cases. Thyroid antibodies, both antithyroid peroxidase antibodies, anti-TPO, antithyroid microsomal antibodies, anti-M and antithyroglobulin antibodies, anti-TG, in the disease are elevated but the levels do not correlate with the severity. Electroencephalogram studies, while almost always abnormal, 98% cases, are usually non-diagnostic. The most common findings are diffuse generalized slowing of frontal intermittent rhythmic delta activity, prominent triphasic waves, focal slowing, epileptiform abnormalities, photoparoxysmal and photomyogenic responses may be seen. Citation needed.
Citation needed. So, that's interesting how they said citation is needed. Oh wait, dude. Dude, wait, what? I want to read this thing again. This right here.
Electroencephalogram studies, while almost always abnormal, 98% cases, are usually non-diagnostic. The most common findings are diffuse generalized slowing of frontal intermittent rhythmic delta activity, prominent triphasic waves, focal slowing, epileptiform abnormalities, photoparoxysmal and photomyogenic responses may be seen. Citation needed.
Well, I don't know about all that other stuff, but generalized slowing or frontal intermittent rhythmic delta activity. I think delta Let's see, what is delta? Delta waves. Damn, my vision, man. My eyes. Wow, dude. Wow. I think so. I mean, they're on my box right now, but I think it was talking about the data waves, the delta waves. I'm just trying to come to like a realization right now, like I mean, I don't know if that's significant or not, but to me I feel like it is. It's like I kind of feel like I want to cry. I don't know why. It's weird, dude. Like because 8 years ago I had tests like that, and it showed that I had those issues, and I was labeled as a crazy person. Basically, every fucking thing I have said has been right. I'm not even a doctor. I've never been to fucking medical school. Sorry about the cussing, but I've never been to medical school. And I knew that there was something going on. Why doctors did nothing. Nothing. I had that shit 8 years ago, and I was told that I was crazy. That I had a psychiatric issue. I was told in probably 2012 or 13 or whatever that with the other ones I've had as well, that it could be all kinds of stuff. It could be like diffuse cerebral issues or something. I don't remember what it was called. Or it can be encephalopathy. You know, that I was having moderate to severe cognitive impairments and all this shit. And then that guy even tried to turn around and say that I was, you know, that I was, it was in my head, you know, that I was making shit up, or not making shit up, but, you know, that I had psychiatric issues. But then again, he just like, I don't know. Sorry, okay? I'm just telling you, man, I don't know. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. So, differential diagnosis. Whoa, what the hell did I just do? I was just looking at something and it was like the same picture as I'm doing right now. Differential diagnosis, Alzheimer's, cerebral vascular accident, strokes, CJD, I don't know how to pronounce that, Cruz or whatever, epilepsy, migraines. Oh yeah, I gotta do this again. Has like the picture right now too. Yeah, I've been diagnosed with migraines. I mean, I don't think I'm having migraines, but and usually they say that I have schizophrenia, and I've like all the shrinks that I've talked to, they're like, bro, you don't have schizophrenia, man. They've all said it. They're like, I don't believe you have schizophrenia, dude. You know, I believe there's something, but I don't think you have schizophrenia. No, I'll write this out. I'll just say it out. It'll say it out.
Alzheimer's disease, cerebrovascular accidents, stroke, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, CJD, epilepsy, migraine, including bacillar, hemiplegic, and retinal types, other forms of autoimmune encephalitis, including forms of limbic encephalitis such as anti-NMDA receptor encephalitis, schizophrenia, spontaneous cerebrospinal fluid leak, viral encephalitis, transient ischemic attack.
Okay, other forms of autoimmune encephalopathitis, including lipic. That's what they're saying. Basically, that's what they're also saying that I have. Lipic encephalopathy or slepitis, whatever, is a form of characterized inflammation of the brain. Lipic is caused by autoimmune. I don't know, man. So there's something wrong with my brain, okay? Let's see if I can find anything else. I mean, I know this isn't really the best video. It really isn't. So, can Hashimoto's disease be fatal? And I don't even know where the hell that's coming from. Better Health. Australia. Yeah, this is Australian government stuff. So I'm gonna let her read.
Myxedema. This severe form of hypothyroidism produces symptoms and signs which may include unnatural sleepiness, extreme sensitivity to cool temperatures, and coma. This condition may be fatal in severe cases. However, myxedema is a very rare complication of untreated Hashimoto's disease.
So, how hereditary is Hashimoto's? This one comes from the Mayo Clinic.
Heredity. You are at higher risk for Hashimoto's disease if others in your family have thyroid or other autoimmune diseases. Other autoimmune disease. Having another autoimmune disease, such as rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, or lupus, increases your risk of developing Hashimoto's disease. Having another autoimmune disease, such as rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, or lupus, increases your risk of developing Hashimoto's disease.
Wow, I didn't know that. I know my mom said that there's a family history of, that's what I should do. Hopefully tomorrow everything is somewhat good, and maybe I could even get results of my EKG, my ultrasound thing on my throat. But I know my mom said we have like a strong family history of thyroid problems. I don't know if we have Hashimoto's. So how do they test for Hashimoto's disease? And that comes from endocrineweb.com.
This test is commonly used to confirm or exclude Hashimoto's thyroiditis as the reason for hypothyroidism. Thyroxine, or T4, is the active thyroid hormone in the blood, and your doctor may measure the level of free T4 in your bloodstream to help confirm a Hashimoto's thyroiditis diagnosis.
How does Hashimoto's disease affect the body? And this is from prevention.com. November 18, 2016, huh?
It regulates the release of hormones that control functions like metabolism and affect breathing, heart rate, and body temperature. But that's exactly what happens with Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disease in which your immune system attacks the thyroid and can eventually slow the production of thyroid hormone.
Yeah, I see that. Like, affects the heart rate and all that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm kind of on my off day right now, but yeah, it could affect everything, I guess. No, I just kind of think sometimes because my heart at times is racing. And I kind of wonder, like I was saying at the beginning, if it's just kind of like my body's overwhelmed, stress or something that I ate or um, whatever I said or didn't say. Huh. Is Hashimoto disease a disability? And that comes from disabilitysecrets.com.
Addison's disease can lead to serious heart and digestive problems, which can qualify for disability. Can I get disability benefits for Hashimoto's disease? Hashimoto's disease, also known as chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis, is an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid.
It didn't say that, but from what I've heard, you might want to do your own research on that. But I've heard no. What causes the virus Hashimoto? Huh. So what causes the virus Hashimoto's? It's not a virus, but okay. And that's from Dr. Hed, H-E-D, Hedberg. Oh, no.
But infections are really a major cause and a major overlooked factor in autoimmune disease. So the Epstein-Barr virus is probably the most common infection that causes Hashimoto's thyroid disease. So Epstein-Barr virus is the virus that causes mononucleosis, also known as the kissing disease.
Can Hashimoto's cause weight loss? I think it could cause both. That was 2013. That was hypothyroidism. Well, hypothyroidmom.com.
Weight loss and hypothyroidism, quite the odd couple. One of the most common concerns for people with hypothyroidism is maintaining proper body weight. For people with Hashimoto's, the most common cause of hypothyroidism, this comes in two varieties. They gain weight and can't lose it, or they have trouble keeping it on.
Or off. I kind of like these little sections here like this. Can Hashimoto's disease go away? Huffington Post. These are actual articles. I guess you could look it up. That's why a couple reasons, but that's one of the reasons I'm putting this site came from.
For about 1/4 of people, Hashimoto's will simply go away. This means that people will move out of Hashimoto's and into normal thyroid function. It does not matter what they do, eventually it will simply go out.
Yeah, it's actually go away. Wait, what?
Go away.
Huh. Yeah, that Huffington Post. I don't know. I don't know about those people. Will simply go away. Hashimoto's will simply go away. This means that people will move out of Hashimoto's, and so I guess maybe if you have a very mild form, but I think that's kind of irresponsible journalism to say that it's going to simply go away. I mean, I've been having this Hashimoto's for at least since 2011, so at least about 7 years. No, like, everybody thinks, everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, there's nothing wrong with you, blah, 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 blah. Just, not until, like, 2018 was I actually officially diagnosed with it as well. Are eggs good for Hashimoto's? So, I was also diagnosed with Graves' disease as well. So I don't know. I need to get a antibody check for that. And that comes from naturaldoctrinesolutions.com.
However, eggs are not part of an autoimmune paleo diet, which would suggest that those people with autoimmune thyroid conditions such as Graves' disease and Hashimoto's thyroiditis should avoid eating eggs. First of all, regardless of whether someone has an autoimmune condition or not, eggs are a common allergen.
The fuck? See, that's the thing about health issues, because you get to the point, what the hell can you actually eat? They're like, you can't eat this, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, whoa, dude, come on now. So, is bananas good for thyroid patients? blog.paleohacks.com.
Some good paleo-friendly sources include pumpkin seeds, beef, fish, eggs, bananas, avocados, poultry, and almonds. These animal-based foods high in protein also tend to be good sources of vitamin B12 and selenium, which are also important for thyroid health.
Wait, what? What? You see? Did you just hear that? If you go back to the first one, well, to the previous one, how natural the hell? I don't know how to pronounce that, to be honest. Like, what? And by the way, the source is a natural EN. doctrinesolutions.com. But you see how they said not to eat eggs, but these people are saying, which, by the way, I forgot, that's everydayhealth.com. Which actually, they're pretty dangerous. Alright, well, what? Oh, it's just, oh my god, my brain, dude. My brain, my eyes. I'm seeing this car outside with my eyes closed. It's weird. Oh. Can Hashimoto's cause... Wait, what? I'm everywhere. There's something wrong with me, man. Some good paleo. Is bananas good? Okay, that was the paleo hacks. And then is can Hashimoto's cause cancer? And that's from Everyday Health.
A thyroid condition known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis is associated with an increased risk for thyroid cancer. This autoimmune disease is also the most common cause of hypothyroidism. With Hashimoto's, the immune system makes antibodies that damage the thyroid and interfere with its ability to release thyroid hormone.
So, there's one, endocrineweb.com, conditions, Hashimoto's, thyroiditis, complications. It's actually a lot. But apparently thyroid issues can actually cause everything. I just want to focus on specific things. Wow. cancer. I don't remember what that just said. If you can remember, awesome. It's talking about lymphoma. So, like, I'll just put a very brief, like, things it can cause.
Addison's disease, Graves' disease, premature ovarian failure, type 1 diabetes, lupus erythematosus, a disorder that causes inflammation in a number of the body's systems, including the lungs and heart, pernicious anemia, a disorder that prevents the absorption of vitamin B12, rheumatoid arthritis, thrombocytopenic purpura, a disorder that interferes with the blood's ability to clot, vitiligo, a disorder that produces white patches on the skin due to attacks on skin pigment cells.
I have the, well, I don't think I have that one, because I think that's, like, you got, like, black people and stuff where they have, like, patches of, like, white and stuff on their skin. They're kind of like cows, sort of, you know, different patches. But I've actually seen a lot of people like that. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I get not patches per se, but I get like little white, not really patches, but like little white spots and stuff here and there, and I don't know. But see, I would really like to learn about this. And Jonathan, that's what you could do, buddy. You could do that. You could do that, buddy. I'm having like really bad memory issues, so maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Did I just like delete it? God, I can't freaking remember. I can't think. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, you know, my vision is like really affecting my thinking, so it's crazy, man. I just know that apparently I have this Hashimoto's. You know, antibodies are popping up. I'm having tons of different health issues, symptoms, all that other stuff. With what little work that doctors actually do and say, okay, this is what you got. I feel like I'm frozen. That was weird. But, you know, saying what I got, basically, they're saying I got that, and they want me to take, you know, to suppress my immune system. Which, to be honest, I think is crazy. But I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be cool if I could learn all this stuff and then write a book about it. But I don't know, I don't really feel good. My eyes are weird right now. My mind is weird. I just feel weird all in general. Whoa. They're not red. No, they're not red. It's just weird. It's like they feel dry. So I'm going to get off this thing. My eyes just feel, I don't know, they feel real dry. See, I got tears. I feel tears. Droplets, but I'm getting out of here. Peace. Oh, and You know, if you're still watching this, awesome. Leave some comments. Oh, I just wanted to let this thing read it. This last one. What is SREAT, or SREAT? That comes from Mana Chid. That was weird. Does that say it? Yeah, managehealthcareconnection.com. I was like, what? So there's actually more to it. I'm just going to read this.
Steroid-responsive encephalopathy with associated thyroiditis, SREAT, also referred to as Hashimoto's encephalopathy, is an autoimmune condition characterized by encephalopathy, cognitive dysfunction, elevated thyroglobulin and or thyroperoxidase antibodies, and therapeutic response to corticosteroids in the absence.
Actually, I'm going to see if I could just do that. And then I'm going to shut this thing down. I might get on here later. I might take a walk and talk session. In the absence. This is what it was.
In the absence of any other identifiable cause of encephalopathy. Though rare, SREAT can present with subacute cognitive decline that mimics the progression of dementia in the elderly. The authors present the case of a 71-year-old male with a 1-year history of progressive cognitive dysfunction that was initially believed to be due to Alzheimer's disease. It was subsequently determined that the patient had SREAT. The literature on the pathogenesis, epidemiology, clinical presentation, treatment, and prognosis of the disease is also presented.
So I'm gonna play this. It talks about a certain thing. I'm just citing. I'm not taking, you know, I'm not like, I don't think I'm plagiarizing. Like, I'm not making this for my, you know, I'm not trying to get money or anything or whatever. I mean, I've probably already done too much. But this is from, it's an article from managehealthcareconnect.com. Full rights to them, I'm just saying. So I'm gonna let this thing read a little more than little sections. So this is probably a five minutes read or so. So I'm gonna let her take over. Cool.
Steroid-responsive encephalopathy with associated thyroiditis, SREAT, also referred to as Hashimoto's encephalopathy, is an autoimmune condition characterized by encephalopathy, cognitive dysfunction, elevated thyroglobulin and or thyroperoxidase antibodies, and therapeutic response to corticosteroids in the absence of any other identifiable cause of encephalopathy, such as infection or structural brain disease. 1 SREAT is a poorly understood disease. Although SREAT was first described in 1966 as a syndrome of severe hypothyroidism coincident with encephalopathy, it is now recognized that only 20% of patients with SREAT have overt thyroid disease, despite having high titers of thyroid autoantibodies. 2 overall. SREAT is rare. Its prevalence is estimated to be less than 2 per 100,000 individuals. 3 Because of its variable clinical presentation, and because diagnosis requires the measurement of antibody titers that are not routinely ordered, it is likely that the prevalence is actually much higher. 1 To date, more than 250 cases of SREAT have been reported in patients whose ages vary considerably and include those in the geriatric age group. 1 However, many of these cases likely include T3 toxicosis, or hypothyroidism in the subacute and chronic phases. Multiple case series also suggest that females are disproportionately affected, an observation in line with its classification as an autoimmune disorder. 1. 2. SREAT appears to present in two distinct subtypes. 1. An episodic, stroke-like, vasculitic condition with a relapsing remitting course. And 2. A progressive cognitive decline resembling rapidly progressive dementia. 4. Our patient presented with the latter subtype, but, according to family, may have had elements of the former as well. Central to the clinical presentation is altered mental status, but the severity may range from a slowly progressive decline to fulminant encephalopathy. In 66% of patients, this is accompanied by seizures, which may be partially generalized and rarely may result in status epilepticus. Myoclonus, ataxia, hallucinations, paranoid delusions, depression, and mania as well as visual, motor, and sensory deficits have also been described. 2. 5. Because SREAT may be characterized in older adults by symptoms similar to those of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias or epilepsy. And because it is such a rare disease, it is likely to be missed by clinicians who encounter it. We present the case of a 71-year-old man with progressively worsening mental status associated with visual hallucinations and hypersomnia who was ultimately diagnosed with SREAT. We further highlight features that should raise clinical suspicion for SREAT and review the literature on this important but likely under-recognized condition. Case presentation: A 71-year-old man with coronary artery disease presented after a 6-month history of worsening confusion associated with hypersomnia, difficulty speaking, and decreased short-term recall, diagnosed by his primary care provider as Alzheimer's disease. Over the past week, he had become progressively more agitated and began to have visual hallucinations, leading his wife to seek medical assistance. 1 year prior, he had been a highly functioning English high school teacher without any apparent cognitive dysfunction. His family reported that the patient did not recently experience any fevers or chills, but that he did have night sweats. They also reported that he exhibited weight loss of approximately 30 pounds over a 2-month period. Additionally, he apparently had 2 similar episodes of altered mental status over the past decade, both of which resolved within 2 weeks and were not investigated further. On presentation, vital signs were within normal limits: temperature 99.1 degrees Celsius, heart rate 97 beats per minute, respiratory rate 18 breaths per minute, blood pressure 114/70 seconds, oxygen saturation 94% on room air. The patient appeared cachectic with prominent temporal wasting. He was somnolent and replied only with indistinct mumbling. Pupils were equal, round, and reactive to light bilaterally. Patellar and bicipital deep tendon reflexes were 2+ bilaterally with sustained ankle clonus. The rest of the physical examination was unremarkable. Complete metabolic panel was ordered, demonstrating mildly elevated aspartate aminotransferase levels 88 U/L, normal range 17 to 59 U/L, and alkaline phosphatase levels 189 U/L, normal range 38 to 126 U/L, but normal alanine transaminase levels 45 U/L, normal range 21 to 72 U/L. Erythrocyte sedimentation rate and C-reactive protein levels were both elevated, at 55 ml per hour and 219 mg per deciliter, respectively. Free thyroxine and thyroid-stimulating hormone were normal. Other analyses: diagnostic panel for human immunodeficiency virus, herpes simplex virus and rapid plasma ray gun, cerebrospinal fluid protein and glucose levels, urinalysis, and thiamine, cobalamin, and folate levels were unrevealing. EEG revealed non-specific slow, continuous triphasic wave activity without epileptiform discharges, and MRI revealed mild global atrophy with microangiopathic changes. Given the subacute course, absence of any apparent infectious source, and inflammatory nature of the encephalopathy, autoantibody titers were measured. Titers revealed elevated perinuclear anti-neutrophil cytoplasmic antibodies 1 to 160, normal levels less than 120, and myeloperoxidase concentration 25.3 U per milliliter, normal 0.0 to 9.0 U per milliliter, and were positive for rheumatoid factor greater than 320 U per milliliter. In the absence of infection, malignancy, or structural brain disease, the patient was tentatively diagnosed with autoimmune nonvasculitic encephalopathy, and empiric intravenous methylprednisolone was started. Within 4 hours, the patient became more alert, was conversant, and was oriented to time, location, and situation. Blood samples were sent for evaluation of thyroperoxidase antibody, anti-TG, and thyroglobulin antibody, anti-TPO, both of which were found to be highly elevated, 673.1 U per milliliter and 74.5 U per milliliter, respectively. Normal concentration for both, less than 5 U per milliliter, consistent with SREAT. The patient was discharged alert, oriented, and attentive on a 2-month prednisone taper. 1 year after discharge, he has had no further episodes of altered mental status. Discussion due to its rarity. Very little is known about the pathophysiology of SREAT. Despite being initially described as Hashimoto's encephalopathy, it is unclear whether anti-TG and anti-TPO are directly involved in its pathogenesis. Some experimental evidence does suggest that antithyroid antibodies may bind to cerebellar astrocytes and mediate CNS function, and that, in particular, anti-TG localizes to vascular smooth muscles in the brain. 7. However, the clinical significance of these findings remains contested. Conversely, multiple lines of evidence suggest that the elaboration of anti-TG and anti-TPO are epiphenomena of a larger immunologic disturbance, and that these antibodies do not directly contribute to the pathogenesis of the disease. Indeed, while thyroid antibody titers are almost always elevated in SREAT, these levels do not appear to be correlated to the severity of disease. 2. Similarly, the presence of thyroid antibodies in serum is poorly predictive of the disease. As over 11% of the general American population has elevated titers, particularly middle-aged American females. 8. Additionally, thyroid antibodies are not the only antibodies found in SREAT, as in this case, patients frequently test positive for other autoantibodies, suggesting the polyclonal activation of B cells, and possible elaboration of an as of yet unknown autoantibody that results in neurologic damage. Although this antibody has not been definitively identified, attention has focused on antibodies against alpha-enolase, an enzyme expressed on the surface of neurons. 9. There are no established guidelines on the diagnostic evaluation of SREAT. However, since the diagnosis of SREAT demands exclusion of any alternative cause of encephalopathy, physicians ought to be methodical in their approach. As with any other case, a thorough history and physical examination should be performed in order to determine the extent, chronicity, and course of disease, including any antecedent episodes. Other causes of apparent rapidly progressive dementia, including depression, HIV, syphilis, CNS vasculitis, and Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, should be thoroughly excluded through laboratory, radiographic, and electroencephalographic testing. 1, 510 in this case. There were some features that helped to clarify the diagnosis relatively early in the presentation. The patient's subacute deterioration, cachectic condition, and elevated levels of inflammatory markers in the absence of any obvious infectious source suggested an autoimmune etiology, which prompted the ordering of serologies and the institution of an empiric trial of corticosteroids. The lack of any focal MRI findings or EEG findings reduced the likelihood of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, primary CNS vasculitis, and paraneoplastic limbic encephalitis, other diseases whose clinical courses often mimic SRE80.1, and because the patient responded so dramatically to methylprednisolone. And because he had high titers of rheumatoid factor, perinuclear anti-neutrophil cytoplasmic antibodies, and myeloperoxidase in the absence of clinically evident vasculitis, an autoimmune non-vasculitic process seemed likely. At this point, anti-TPO and anti-TG were drawn, which were elevated, thus confirming the diagnosis of SRE80. As the nomenclature of SRE80 suggests, steroids are the mainstay of treatment. Intravenous methylprednisolone and prednisone are considered first-line agents in the acute management of the disease, often in conjunction with levothyroxine. 98% of patients with SRE80 respond promptly to corticosteroids, often over the course of hours or days, with full recovery in 4 to 6 weeks. Point 2. Following this initial clinical improvement, a slow prednisone taper is often administered. While many patients do not require further treatment, others may require more prolonged courses of immunosuppression, such as with azathioprine, methotrexate, cyclophosphamide, or mycophenolate mofetil. In the minority of cases in which steroids are not effective, intravenous immunoglobulin administration and plasmapheresis have been attempted, but the results have been mixed. Individual case reports also describe levothyroxine and neuroleptics as adjunct therapy. Point 1. SRE80 bears a favorable prognosis, with many patients returning to their baseline or close to their baseline within weeks. In a case review by Kothbauer, Margreiter and Associates, 40% had no further relapses, while the remaining required additional short courses of immunosuppression. Point 4. Conclusion. SRE80 is a rare but likely under-recognized and underdiagnosed autoimmune condition that presents with cognitive dysfunction, often with prominent neuropsychiatric manifestations suggesting rapidly progressive dementia. Because most cases respond to immunosuppression, physicians should maintain a high index of clinical suspicion, especially for cases in which the cause of encephalopathy remains unknown despite exhaustive evaluation. At the same time, because measurements of antibody titers are expensive and widespread screening will likely lead to false positive results, physicians should be judicious in their decision to pursue testing. In highly suspicious cases, a closely monitored empiric trial of methylprednisolone may be considered while awaiting results of thyroperoxidase and thyroglobulin antibody tests. When diagnosed early, the prognosis of SRE80 is excellent, further underscoring the need for clinicians to recognize this condition.
Wow, that was crazy, bro. My head hurts. That was crazy. I didn't get all that, but I got some of it. I think, I think that's probably how it worked, but wow. You know what's actually interesting is I'm kind of wondering about something. Hold on. I want to see something real quick. It sounds quiet now, right? I just want to know something. It's just the context of the writing. college graduate. Wow. So if you're really quick, you could read it. Reading level is college graduate. Reading time is 5 minutes and 58 seconds. Speaking time was 9 minutes and 7 seconds. And it was one paragraph. Well, actually it's many paragraphs, but it was broken down into one on here. It's 1,600. Oh wow, I just had it again. 1,639 words. 11,769 characters. 55 sentences. Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I just went to wordcounter.net. You know, actually that might help me write that book too, whatever book that is. I say the one that was used the most was CREAT. Then it was disease, encephalopathy, normal. So, that's weird. So the surat, or whatever it was typed 23 times. Disease 14, encephalopathy 11, 11, normal, elevated antibodies, any levels, all 9 times, and then because 8 times. I like that. It's cool. Okay, I'm gonna get off. You take that how you want to take it. Hopefully, you know, if anybody watched this really long video, I'm probably the longest video person when it comes to this kind of video in internet history. I don't know. Well, I don't know. You know. Well, when it comes to my status, because I'm not, you know, on that professional level yet. Maybe one day I can get cleaned up and suited up or whatever and have a good mind and just, you know, present how present my stories. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get dressed and probably get, you know, fixed up and stuff. And yeah, well, I got shorts on, so get dressed and shit, I might just freaking go on my shorts. I don't know. I have my army shorts on, so I don't know if I really want to wear those anymore. To be honest, I might just scrape army off. I might, because I got him. You know, I had the mindset of trying to get in the military, and I have, you know, the way that I see it, I'll never make it in the military. Cutoff limit is 35 for the Army, unless you have some type of specialty, like, you know, something like career or whatever, that can help the military. But outside of that, I'm done for. So, I mean, I tried to get in the military when I was younger, but, you know, shit didn't happen, and then I got truly sick, and, you know, been fighting my own war for 1,000 years, it seems, at least a good 14 years. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna take all this, delete. Maybe I can figure out, because I need to figure out, like, see, that's what I really want to do. I want to be able to do college level reading, because I'm trying to, like, create books that is fancy enough for anybody to read. You know, it's crazy about writing, because you know you can have just like kid writing to all the way to like college PhD, you know, universities, whatever writing, and it's, you know, people can really, you know, those grammar warriors, they're really they can really see that stuff. If you're not writing the right way, they jump on you. Personally, I don't give a crap, but you know, I want professional content too, where anybody can read it and it captures the attention of everyone. Like myself, I don't have the best writing or whatever, and I might not be the best reader. There's a lot of words that I have, like, how the hell do you even pronounce that? I've never seen that word before. But, you know, and I kind of feel like I'm low on the totem pole. But, you know, some literature is like, oh wow, you know, like this one book that I'm reading, the way that the guy talks is just like, it's so smoothing, you know, and it's kind of upbeat, it's sophisticated. It's not just like, what this thing just read was crazy. But anyways, for anybody that's still watching, super fan, dude, super fan. I'm gonna have to buy you a cookie. I'll ship you a cookie. But you gotta watch the whole thing. I'll do like a test. I'll put like random shit. Yeah, that's what I would do. I'll put like random stuff, like from my video in there, you know, and then I'll be like if you want a box of cookies or whatever, you have to answer these questions. I mean, even if you could go back, like say you didn't listen to it, but you were able to go back and you were able to find those questions, hell, I'd still give you a box of cookies, dude. Like, because this video is already 87 minutes long. So, almost an hour and 90 minutes long, dude. So, alright, I think I'm going to get off. That word, I'm telling you, dude, getting off. No, it's not always a sexual connotation. It's not always sexual. I think it could be always pleasurable. I'm getting off work. Yeah. Unless you love work, or you don't want to go back to the wife or the husband. It's like, damn it, I'll rather work, make some money. But yeah, I'm trying to save some money. I don't know how I'm going to do this now that I'm thinking about it, because I want to go to the store and I want to go and buy some stuff. But I should have about $600-700, about $600 maybe. But that's if I don't spend any money this month when it comes to after all my bills. Because I tallied all my bills up and I paid a few of them. But outside of that, and then I had a couple hundred already saved. So, you know, I want to try to save that as much as possible, and then hopefully by January 31st, you know, I'm assuming I'll still be kicking. You know, have a fat wad of cash. So I was also thinking about trying to get all this taken care of. Because I was like, dude, you know, I was thinking last night with all my issues. I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking die, bro. Like, there's something truly wrong with me. So I was like, what would you do? And I'm like, well, if it was me, I would save as much as money as possible. Sell as much as you can. You know, do whatever you got to do to make some money. get your house in order. Get everything clean, sell everything. Become a minimalist, to be honest. You know? I mean, minus the tools, the trade, things that I really need, you know? I mean, I would say get rid of pretty much everything, man. You know? Practically. You know? Maybe have like a plate, you know, a plate and a bowl and, you know, maybe a pot or something. Well, I don't need a pot. I can just use a skillet. You know, that can still be a pot, sort of. So, you know, just get like really minimal, like hardly anything. Now, when people come over, well, that could be a different story. But I don't really ever have people coming over, so it is what it is. But just get rid of everything. But I do know that I really need to set up a GoFundMe account. Or something. Like, because I'm always trying to think about what can I say, what can I do to try to get funds. And I think at the present time, I mean, I could use a lot of my health issues, but I think at the present time, I would use the autoimmune encephalopathy thing. Because it is life-threatening, as, you know, an hour and 30 minutes worth of video has mentioned a couple of times from a couple resources. So, it can cause comas, it can cause seizures, it can cause everything, pretty much. So, maybe I can somehow, see, and that's the thing, is as soon as I start getting that money, you know, people are going to like, oh, you're getting that money. So I'm just, you see what I'm talking about. Even if people helped me out with money, people find out I'm getting money, I'm going to lose every freaking thing. So I have to somehow make, you know, $100,000 business yearly, and I'm trying to do 5 businesses. So, you know, $500,000 plus, you know, $35,000 of tax for each one. I'm assuming. You know what? Let's see if I can actually even figure that out. I mean, it's 5 businesses. Taxes calculator. I think that's what it's called. Let's see if I can figure out what it's called. So, not sponsoring the people. If they want to sponsor me, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to smartasset.com. And they have all kinds of stuff. So you got like buying a home buying, taxes, retirement, banking, credit cards, investing, smart reads, life insurance, refinance, personal loans, student loans. I guess this is kind of like an informational thing, and it tells you all about stuff. I don't know if they actually text me. I don't know if they, I don't know, because it says allowances, federal, state, and local. And this is Texas, so I don't know. But I'm going to put $500,000. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Whoa, dude. I wish I could change this around. but I can't. I mean, this is probably off or whatever, but I put like $500,000 for 1 year. I don't know if this is right or not, but so I put gross paycheck, and it's saying that taxes, it would take $147,942. And then FICA or whatever, 17,911. So yeah, I mean, look at all that money they're taking, dude. I mean, they're taking almost $160,000 in taxes. Holy shit, no wonder people rob banks. Holy crap, or do criminal mischief. So, I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to see. Yeah, your take home would be $330. So, yeah, so I don't think this applies. But say if I made 135,000, right? Say, so for this they take for $100,000. If you wanted this, you had to make $135,000 a year in Texas, I'm assuming. So you got 24,806, and then you got $9,918. And that would give you $100,000, $276. Yeah, $100,276. Gotta go.